Alright, we're gonna rank every Halo game ever been released, with the exclusion of Fireteam Raven because that is an arcade game and an actual arcade and I can't play it on Xbox or PC. So let's get that out of the way. First, we're gonna rank Halo 5, the bad sheep of the community. This one's tricky because people enjoyed the multiplayer more than the campaign. And this is the case where you enjoy the multiplayer way more than the campaign. The only thing I didn't like about it is for the multiplayer, I didn't like that they forced the whole, what's it called? I forget what it's called. What is it called? Is it called Warzone or is it called something else? It's called something else. I don't know what it is. Arena or something. It's not it's not their firefight mode with the wardens and crap. That's not what I'm talking about. It's the one where destroying the cores or something like that. Let me know what it is because I don't know what it is. And they swapped from the classic Halo aiming to the aim down sight crap like what you see in Call of Duty and Battlefield. That doesn't look good in a Halo game at all. And if we're talking campaign, it's the worst of the franchise. You only Master Chief for 3 missions out of the 15. Everything feels forced to like the new protagonist, Agent Locke, but he lacks depth to him compared to other characters. But it just sucks because it's like you're just playing catch up throughout the whole game and it's like the plot's a disaster. Let's just say that. And Halo Infinite shows straight up like that was just a whole waste. Like it's just bad. The campaign, I'm gonna have to put, okay, to be fair, I'm not a 343 hater, but I'm not gonna be pro 343 either. Remember that. So I'm gonna put this one. Campaign sucks. Campaign is F tier. Multiplayer is better, but it doesn't feel like a Halo game. I'm gonna have to put this one D tier. Yeah, I'm gonna get hate for that one. Next one, the other 343 game, Halo 4. This one introduced Forerunners as the enemies, an actual Forerunner, a reskin of the entire Halo franchise. This is the first 343 game that was made that wasn't a remaster. This brought Halo back to life, but it didn't live up to its potential. Actually, I'm gonna drop Halo 5 down to E tier. The multiplayer feels kind of clunky. It does have great armor abilities, but people say those are overpowered. Some of the weapons are kind of overpowered. Personally, between 4 and 5, I want to say Halo 4 had a better Mantis mech because you can lock onto multiple targets, whereas Halo 5's it's just one straight target. That sucks. What I don't like about the 343 games is the boosts on the Covenant vehicles. They're limited now, so you can't just spam your way through like you did with the Bungie games with the Ghost and the Banshee and stuff. Plot wise, it's interesting. It's not what Bungie intended as far as Forerunners go, but it's still better than what 5 and even Infinite's plot came up with. I'm gonna have to put this one at D tier because you're probably wondering why did I put in D tier? You can't understand the plot at all for that particular game specifically if you didn't read the Forerunner books. If you didn't read those 3 books, you don't understand what is going on, and that's the problem because every Halo game most of the time has been self-explanatory. We don't need additional crap to understand. Halo Wars 1 from 2009, made by several studios, the guys that made you Age of Empires. This one is the only Halo game that actually features you fighting in Harvest. The strange thing about this game is that it's a real-time strategy game and it's not a shooter game like the old Halo games, but Halo was originally made to be a strategy game when Bungie first came up with it, when it was known as Blam. So, story's great. There's a section for lore, which is the Bungie lore of crap. It has a Halo timeline from when humanity first discovers how to go faster than light to Halo Combat Evolves plot. And the graphics are amazing, the plot's amazing, the interface for a strategy game on a console is actually pretty good, but it feels more like Command and Conquer style gameplay. The exception is you can't move your base and you can't build wherever you want. So as a strategy game, it feels kind of dumbed down as far as it goes, but for it being a shooter attempt at a strategy game, I gotta say it's pretty good. Even though Halo is not a strategy franchise, I gotta say it's pretty good. So I'm gonna put this one at, actually no, I'll put it at C because strategy is not Halo's thing, so we're gonna dumb it down a bit. Halo 3, arguably one of the best of the entire franchise. This is Halo at its highest level, where you have casual and competitive people playing alike. Everyone knows it. It's the Xbox 360's pride and joy. Everyone likes it. Even people that are not really gamers are aware of this game's existence. Amazing campaign, amazing soundtrack, iconic multiplayer maps, a decent progression system, and you can't buy your way to the top. Iconic armors. The armors don't look ugly or too overdone or out of your reach. And it played well with the achievement system on the Xbox and with the vid masters and stuff like that. Crazy stuff. This one easily S. There's no arguments there. Halo Reach. It's kind of a Halo 5 situation where I like the campaign. I mean, I don't really like the campaign, but the multiplayer is amazing, especially with the Forge mode. Okay, yeah, Forge world is bland. It's overused, but you can make anything you want out of that. I've even seen people make racetracks. Some people have made remakes of old Halo levels. Like I saw one of the Pillar of Autumn. It was just crazy. Like the amount of detail they go into. And this is the final Bungie game, but campaign wise, it feels like they kind of just lost their way because it's no longer about Master Chief. It's about Noble Team, which are Spartan 3s. They feel like a dumbed down version of the Spartan 2s. It's kind of like Halo 5 where they're trying to force a protagonist in to fit in with Combat Evolved, and it conflicts with the Bungie book Halo The Fall of Reach. So I'm going to consider both of those plots canon as far as the start of the Halo series goes. I don't like the campaign. Multiplayer amazing. Firefight mode very amazing. I'm going to have to put this one at B tier. Next game up, the second strategy game, Halo Wars 2. Another 343 game, and I think it's made by Creator or Creative Assembly. It's one of those two. The guys that made Total War. Another strategy game that's only on PC. This one is the first introduction to the Banished as a faction of Halo. It actually is pretty good. Better than Halo Wars 1 as far as like what you can do, because there's like mini bases and stuff like that you can use to like deal with the map. But it feels like they dumbed down the abilities and the destructive capabilities of units. And then there's also this like Blitz mode, which is like a card game mode. I don't like when strategy games do that because it like messes up everything. I'm gonna have to put this one at D tier because the Halo Wars 1 is better, but strategy isn't Halo's thing. Make sense? Alright, the poster child of Halo from the original Xbox. Halo 1 might have been the first of the franchise, but Halo 2 is the game that made Halo famous. Best soundtrack of the game, best cutscenes, dual protagonists, iconic multiplayer maps, iconic multiplayer modes. This is also when Halo began to be used on Xbox Live, and this is also the game that made Xbox Live very, very popular. Halo 1 did not have Xbox Live. It had System Link, which were LAN parties. Halo 2 actually had Xbox Live online multiplayer. So without this, Xbox Live would have never been popular. And this is one of the few Halo games that had dual wielding weapons. And you also were Master Chief half the game, and then you were Arbiter the other half. And with Arbiter, you can go active camo, invisible, and stuff. And Breaking Benjamin's also in the soundtrack. So I'm gonna have to put this one at S tier. It also had boss battles. Really good game. It's the longest game of the entire franchise and the hardest game of the franchise on Lasso. They made a challenge, and I think only one dude has actually ever beaten it on Lasso deathless. And he had to do it on the original Xbox version, not the MCC version. Combat Evolved, the first game of the series. It's iconic. It's unique. The colors are amazing. Multiplayer maps are amazing. The weapon balancing sucks because everything is overpowered. There's no tactics here. Everything will blow you up. I say again. Like, it's just crazy, but the craziness makes it fun, but it's also hard, but it's beatable on Legendary solo. It's not as hard as Halo 2 or Halo 3. It's doable. But the problem with Halo Combat Evolved, well, I'm going to rank it at A tier instead of S tier with the rest of them, is because half the game is a set of levels, and the other half of the game is the reverse of the same levels. So the end mission is the same level as the first mission. There's like, I think 3 levels. They're in the reverse order. That's why I'm going to have to dumb it down despite it being an amazing game. Halo Infinite. This is tricky because I'm going to have to put it at D tier. Funny, dude, you're a hater. I'm not a hater. It's just they're pushing the battle pass system. The armor system sucks. The challenge system sucks. The achievement system, oh my god, it's a disaster. I made a guide playlist for Infinite achievements for multiplayer, and people keep telling me all the time, dude, your methods don't work anymore. They patched it. I've done that over and over and over again. I got the medals and everything. Achievement won't unlock. The campaign feels bland. Like, the plot is, it's weird because Halo 4 and 5, they're like Forerunners are powerful, and now you got Infinite where there's another faction coming in that isn't as powerful as the Forerunners, but just as much as a threat. It's just disaster. And then the Banished are a joke in Infinite. In Halo Wars, they were at their peak. In Halo Infinite, they suck. The multiplayer maps are the same maps over and over again. The weapons are new, but they suck. The Banished weapons are not that good. The armor abilities are dumbed down to the extreme. The maps are bland. There's no firefight mode. There's no campaign theater mode. I think they did bring the Forge mode, but it's pushing esports and battle passes more than the fun of the game. Makes sense? So I'm gonna have to put it, or actually, nah, we're gonna drop it down to E. I'm gonna put it with Halo 5. Both suck. Sorry. Not sorry. Anyways, the last two, Halo Spartan Assault and Spartan Strike, they're identical games. They're just different release dates. They're an arcadey like game that you could play on your phone. It's a top view shooter game, but it's third person. It takes place in between Halo 4 and 5, I think. But since they're not FPS and they're not like actual Halo games, and they're arcade games like something you would find off the App Store, I'm gonna have to put both at F tier. Alright, let me know in the comments if you disagree with my rankings on Halo, the Halo games in the series, and let me know how you would arrange it. Thank you for watching.